Hi, I'm Mr. Long. Welcome to Back to School Night. I know it looks a little different this year, but I really appreciate you clicking on my video tonight so I could introduce myself to you. Ideally, we could do this in person, but those aren't the circumstances we find ourselves in. So I'm at least grateful that we have this chance where you can kind of put a face to a name. Um, I teach ninth grade English here at the high school, and I also teach a British literature and composition course, which is primarily seniors, though I do have a few juniors in there as well. Um, I am a long-term substitute. Um, I'm in for Liz Townsend. She's out on maternity leave, and she will be returning in January for the second semester. Um, this is not my first time as an LTS, as a long-term sub in the district. I've taught ninth grade English in the past here, as well as speech and creative writing. So I'm very familiar with the district. I'm really happy to be here. I have wonderful students. So I am really grateful for the chance to be here this fall, even though we are in kind of unprecedented times. Um, I wanted to go over some of my expectations, give you an understanding of what my teaching philosophy is. Um, I know there are some questions surrounding what school looks like when kids are working remotely versus when they're in the building. I have been trying to make those two uh, different settings as uh, synchronous as possible, and ensuring that the kids who are working from home are receiving a quality education. Um, I do have everything on Schoology kind of mapped out. We are going to be using Google Meet consistently starting next week. So we will have a live component built into the course as well. So just looking at ways of making it even more interactive for kids who are working from home and giving them some of the experiences of at least a type of experience that's analogous to what it's like when we are working together in person. Um, Attendance so far, I have not had any uh, real concerns in any of my classes, but I do want to stress that if your student, if your son or daughter is working from home, they are still held to the same attendance expectations as if they were in the building, which means they're following their block schedule. If they are to be in class by 7:40, they should be signed on to Schoology by 7:40 when they're working from home. I've been putting up some kind of daily activity. It's usually a question related to something we're doing in class, a very a reading check quiz maybe, or a pre-reading question that's going to relate to what we then discuss in class or read in class. And I've been using that as a way to determine who has signed on time, and that's been working really well. And like I said, I have not had any genuine concerns about that. That is going to change a little bit in the coming weeks when we shift to Google Meet, and I'll probably be using Google Meet to take attendance. But for now, every day there's a daily attendance, and if your son or daughter is working from home, they just click on that, answer whatever question or short activity I've posted, and that's been the way I've taken attendance. Another philosophy I'd like to share with you, and this pertains in general, but in particular to the at-home instruction. I have been encouraging students to really find a place at home where they can work free from distraction. Um, I want them to feel like they are kind of getting ready for school and attending school, even though it's not going to look like the school building here and the classroom here, and they're going to be doing things remotely from home. I want them to have maybe a mindset that I'm still attending class, and it would be great if they had routines where they work from the same place, or they minimized potential distractions, and they kind of went to that space where they could concentrate on schoolwork. So I kind of treat it as if hey, I have class today at 7:40. I got to go. I have my little like office area set up, or a little desk set up, or a place where I can go and focus. Um, I also want them to, when we're doing things on Google Meet, to ensure that they are following the same expectations that we would have in the building, in terms of what's school appropriate, and sort of things that we would want to see in school, and the sort of behaviors that we would like to cultivate in school, and things that we would discourage when we were in person. Just know that those same things should be discouraged when they are attending a Google Meet session. Same expectations of school apply in either setting. Um, I've also encouraged students, and this might sound like I'm kind of um, going back on what I just said, but I've encouraged students, if they are able to work outside on a given day. You know, uh, we do have an independent reading project in all of my classes, and I do expect students to spend 10 minutes or so each class on their independent reading. And this is something, if it's a nice day and they want to get outside and they have a space where they can go, um, I would really encourage that. I think kids are spending so much time in front of screens, given the circumstance we find ourselves in, and I think if we can just find ways for them to reduce some of that screen time, it's going to be wondrous for, I think, their mental and emotional health. I think all of us get a little burned out when we are uh, working in front of screens and staring at screens all day. So things like independent reading, that is definitely something where they can get outside and just take 10 minutes or so and just read. And the same thing applies to certain activities. If they have the ability to print out a worksheet that I've posted, and if they want to fill that out by hand, and if that means they can get outside and just work on their homework outside, or their classwork outside, and if they just want to then take a picture of that on their phone and upload that to Schoology, um, I think that's a fantastic idea as well. I just think um, moments where they can find screen breaks are going to be really important, because we're all working remotely on some of these days, and they're attending a full day of school, and that's a long day. So I think if they can find ways to take those breaks, I've been trying to encourage that. So if there's something at home, if you can impress on them the importance of finding some of those breaks, and if there's work that they can do, like I said, that the independent reading is a great opportunity to get 10, 15 minutes away from a screen at least. I think that's gonna have a huge payoff for your kiddos. Um, I also wanted to go over like my kind of my philosophy with the independent reading. Um, I know that a lot of what we read in school is required, and I know if you have a son or daughter who is taking British literature, their independent reading um, is from a required reading list. But the ninth graders, they are free to find an independent novel of their choice. So um, I want them to find books that are interesting to them. I know we still have the things that we read in school. Ninth grade, we read Lord of the Flies, which we are currently reading right now. So you should, if you have a ninth grader, you're probably seeing this book around the house. If not, you should. And I know a lot of what we do is assigned. So like Lord of the Flies in ninth grade, To Kill a Mockingbird, Shakespeare's Macbeth. So a lot of stuff is required of them. But for the independent reading for the ninth graders, I would like them to just find something that's interesting to them. I think if they read regularly, and they read things that are of interest, they're only going to grow as a reader and acquire more vocabulary, and become better writers. And I think the more you read, the more you develop empathy and understanding, and I think you're better able to navigate a world that's frequently changing. So I think regardless of what your son or daughter goes on to do post high school, I think cultivating some kind of reading life is really important. So I've built in some time for independent reading in all my classes, and in ninth grade, especially, if you can just encourage them to find books that are of interest to them, um, and really like set aside those 10 or 15 minutes a day for that independent reading. Now, there are some things that we do with that in the classroom, like they will be required to lead book talks, and to keep track of their reading and to write a reflection on the things that they have read. So it does have a component that is going to be evaluated in the classroom, but at the heart of it, I think it's just a way for kids to get in the habit of reading every day. Um, Kind of related to that, I I believe that writing is not something that uh, students should only do for school. I think we write for life, and I want students to try to live as if they were a writer. I think when they write, they get a chance to understand life better and their lives better, and again, like you know, be better equipped to navigate a changing and challenging world. It helps us to explore our ideas and consider our own lives and our past and our futures and where we're going. Um, so I want students to have a lot of opportunities to write in my classroom, and while some of that writing serves an academic purpose, we do cover narrative writing and informational writing and argumentative writing. I want to balance those writing discourses with writing that they generate from their own ideas and their own experiences. So with that said, I have asked all my classes to get a basic, Mead college ruled notebook. Everyone, I believe, has, but they should be writing pretty often, and we do quite a bit of writing in this class. So um, just know that if your son or daughter doesn't have that writing notebook, to please make sure that they get one. Um, it's something that kind of forms some of the foundation of what we do in the English classroom. Um, and As far as various resources that are going to be helpful, I have all of those posted on Schoology. I know that a lot of my independent reading resources are there, where students can, track their reading and fill out forms for troubleshooting and areas where they're struggling, perhaps. I have some documents there on how to keep a reading journal, and how to set that up. That's going to help them to better understand what they are reading and also come to class prepared for discussions that we will have. So all of those are posted on Schoology in a resources folder that you may take a look at. That's especially helpful for all the reading activities that we do in here. As far as the 12th graders and 11th graders, those who are in Brit Lit, they should have one of two novels right now. So the one is Brave New World by Aldous Huxley, and the other might have a different cover, but the other one is 1984 by George Orwell. So your son or daughter should be reading one of those two. So they should have a notebook that they are using, that is keeping track of all of their reading, and that is something that I am going to use as part of their overall independent reading project and how I'm going to assess that. So you should see those two books around. They are perennial favorites of students. These two books seem to be very memorable for students, and they do generate a lot of interesting conversation. So if your son or daughter is in Brit Lit, you should see those novels. We just started reading those this week, and that is something that they're doing primarily outside of class. So that's in addition to what we are going to do in the classroom. So right now in that group, we are working on Geoffrey Chaucer and the Canterbury Tales, and we should be finishing that up pretty soon and moving on to William Shakespeare. So we'll do a lot of that stuff in the classroom, but outside of that, they are required to work through one of those two novels. In the next marking period, they're going to be asked to write a literary analysis on the book that they read. So very important that they are maintaining a pretty good reading pace. It's something that they should be working on a little bit each day, and I'm going to post a timeline that that will keep them on track, so they know where they should be at the close of each week. But you should see your son or daughter working their way through that. If you have any questions for me, my contact information, it's probably best to reach me by email, Seth_Long@cocalico.org. All of that is posted on Schoology in my course syllabus. And I'm also reachable. I know your sons and daughters have been contacting me on Schoology, and that's a pretty good way to get a hold of me as well. But it's probably best in general. Email I can be pretty responsive to pretty quickly. So if you have any concerns, do not hesitate to reach out to me that way. I love hearing from parents and working with parents and doing what's best for kids. So do not hesitate if you have any questions for me. I'm more than happy to have a conversation with you about what's going on. All right. Well, I think that's all I had to say. I know you have some other videos that you are probably going to watch tonight. So again, thank you so much for taking the time and attending this virtual back to school night. And I hope you have a great evening, and I'll hopefully get a chance to talk to some of you soon. All right. Bye.